Hey YouTube, Mr. Black Mamba 305 here with you guys again, and I'm gonna try to make this video as quick as possible. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank all the people that are watching my videos, all the people from out of the United States, and that includes Australia, Indonesia, New Zealand, us, among other countries. I just want to thank you guys for your support, and for all the people here in the United States, welcome back. Thanks for my channel. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share, and that would be greatly appreciated. My goal next year to get up to about 10,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and check it out for all this great, wonderful content that I'm about to put out. All right, let's get to the meat of the matter now, guys. So as you guys can tell by the video, this is a video I want to do on the first, I would say, 3 guns you're going to purchase if you're a new firearms holder. Now, if you already have a bunch of firearms, then it doesn't matter. You have what you have. But if you're just getting into firearms and you're thinking about, okay, what gun should I purchase and why? And if I purchase one gun, what's my second gun to purchase and why? And if I purchase a second gun, what's the third gun I should purchase and why? And here I am to explain that to you. Now we're just going to jump right into the meat of the matter. Now, if you're going to purchase your first firearm, it has to be one for self-defense. That's if you're either going to conceal carry that firearm, if you want to use it for home protection, or whatever the case may be. The first thing I would do if I were you, if you're into firearms, if you're getting into firearms, is to purchase a handgun. That would be the first purchase I would make. On the table here, we have my current everyday carry, and this is my Beretta APX Centurion. As you guys know by now, I really love this gun. It's soft shooting. It has all the ergonomics that I need. Picatinny rail. The slide looks big and bulky, but it really isn't. It's a really soft shooter. Anybody who owns one can tell you they have generous mag release, generous slide release, generous takedown lever to remove the slide and clean the gun. The gun is super easy. The learning curve for it is very nice. Nice beaver tail. They give you enough back strap, 2 mags, 15 rounds. It can pretty much do it all. Anybody who owns one of these can tell you, I know they're going to tell you that they love this one. So the first thing that I would purchase would be a 9mm. And that is just standard for your first time owning a firearm. Now, what kind of 9mm you're going to purchase, that is up to you. And what I would suggest, if it's your first time getting a firearm, I would suggest going to your neighborhood shooting range or firearm store, and if they can allow you to try multiple firearms, then go ahead and try a few of them, find the one that best fits you. If you're a female, I'm definitely not recommending any kind of 380. Yes, 380 is a pretty decent round, but it is not 9mm. And as for comparison, I have a 380 here. I don't really shoot 380s, but I have them here. And that's the difference between 9mm and 380. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend using a 22 as your first firearm, but if that's what you have access to, it's what you have access to. But I'm definitely not going to recommend a 22 for your first firearm. I mean, if it's later on, obviously, if you want to get a 22 for trainer, then that would be great. But for your first firearm, if say you have a family, and you're the man of the house or the woman of the house, you're single mother, and you want to purchase your first firearm. It doesn't have to be a Glock, okay? It doesn't have to be a Beretta. It doesn't have to be a CZ. It doesn't have to be a Smith & Wesson. It can be what you can afford. But if you're going to buy a cheap gun, all right, and you think you want something more substantial with a little bit more quality, I would suggest go ahead and save up a little bit more. It wouldn't kill you, because for these cheaper guns nowadays, you're going to spend about $3 and change. The lowest will go by probably in the 280s, maybe a Taurus, maybe a Susi, or something like that. But I would suggest just wait a little bit. And if you can purchase one of these, this Beretta APX Centurion, the Beretta Compact Carry, or if you can go up and you want to, purchase a Glock or a CZ, then I would suggest to spend that money or save a little bit longer, spend that money and get a better firearm than you would get any of the lower end firearm, because you're protecting your life and the life of your family members. So I would invest into that. We spend so much money on so much things that not even good for us. Food, drugs, you name it, whatever you spend money on that you don't really need to spend money on, then you can cut back for a week, save up some money, and some extra money and purchase a better firearm. This firearm is pretty much in the mid tier. This comes in right now. You can probably get these in the in the mid 350s, 380s. The new bird, the APX A, I think the APX A1 or something like that. Those coming around $400. Those are great. Obviously, if you're into Glock, then go ahead and purchase that. But before you purchase your first firearm, guys, make sure you do your research. Go on YouTube, watch all the reviews. If you want to purchase a Glock, watch your reviews. Do a lot of comparison videos, Glock versus or CZ versus or Beretta versus, and see what other people think. Don't just watch one video, watch two videos, but watch multiple videos. And then when you go to the shooting range, if they have an option for you to actually try a certain type of gun, ask them if you can try it, pay the extra money, and then pick whichever one shoots best for you. Don't just shoot 5 rounds. Try to shoot about 100 rounds and get the feel for that firearms, and then pick your firearm based on a more educated experience. So that's kind of pretty much what I would suggest. I would suggest a 9mm. I would not suggest getting a 45 or a 40. 45 is more expensive. 40 caliber is more expensive. With the evolution of the 9mm Luger has come quite a long way. You have 9mm for every occasion, for shooting inside the house, shooting outside the house, not necessarily armor piercing, but that can penetrate a lot better. 9mm ammunition technology has come such a long way. I really don't see the need to really buy a 40 or 45, but if that's your preference, go ahead and get that. But I'm telling you guys, the 9mm is definitely the way to go for your first firearm. If you're a female and you're not gonna be able to handle the recoil, then you definitely don't want to move up to a 40 or 45 or 357 for that matter. Don't go into a gun store and let them convince you to buy anything more than a 9mm. And I do not recommend a 380. Those 380 pistols, they're smaller, they're very snappy, and they will print in your hand like nobody's business. Do not buy a 380 if you're a woman. Unless that is what you want, do not buy it. And I do not suggest a 22 caliber, but if that is your option and that's what you can afford and that's what's available to you at the time of purchase and you can't afford anything else, then go ahead. But your first firearm should be a 9mm. Which 9mm you choose, that is up to you. Do your research and then go from there. Now we're going to talk about if I had to buy my first 3 firearm. And the next firearm that I would buy would be, so if I'm going to buy a second firearm, the second firearm that I would purchase would be a 22 caliber. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh man, a second gun should be a shotgun, and your second gun should be a rifle, or it should be a SCAR. Don't listen to those people. They don't know what they're talking about. Plain and simple. Now, listen towards my reason for picking a 22 as my second firearm. Now, 22, everybody know already. If you visit my channel before, you guys know I love 22 caliber. I just love plinking with 22. I think they're a lot of fun. They're super inexpensive, fairly inexpensive to shoot. Ammo prices have gone up since the coronavirus. So yes, the price of everything has gone up. But I think they went up, tapered off, and they're kind of like coming back down. I've seen some prices on different websites where 22 caliber is pretty much coming right back down. The reason why I suggest getting a 22 is, now if you have small children in your family and want to get them into firearms, a lot of guys, what they want to do is take these 357 Magnum, these shotgun, these 308s, and just to, I don't know, to impress kids or these girls or people at the range, this is what they want to train a lot of people with. I do not suggest training anybody for the first time with anything larger than a 22. At least if you try with a 22, they'll get to like it. And if they feel like it, then they can move on to a 9mm. If they feel like it, they can probably move on to something bigger, 40, 45, 223, so forth. But starting out with like a 357 Magnum, I do not recommend that one bit. And the reason why you need a 22 and that could be a 22 long rifle, such as this one. This is a custom built one that I actually made. This has a whole grip. I don't even remember where I got this barrel from. This barrel has a compensator, and not that a 22 rifle needs it, but it makes it look so nice. And then this has a cheap red dot and this nice rubber oak grip. And again, this is a Ruger 1022, which is one of probably the most popular 22 rifle on the planet, and probably the most customizable. This is just like an AR-15, so I would go either way. I would go a 22 long rifle like this one, like I said, or a 22 pistol. Not necessarily this one, obviously, guys. This one is a Ruger Mark IV Tactical. This one's a little bit tricked out. I put a comp on it, again, like not that I actually need it. And this one has a cheap red dot just to help me for a quick sight acquisition. I changed out the grips to a whole grip. As you guys can tell by now, if you watch any of my videos, I love old grip. So this one is pretty hefty, no magazine, and this probably were like 35 ounces. Not to mention with a full magazine with 10 rounds, and even if I put a light on there to make it super tactical, it's even heavier. I do not recommend giving this to a child. Then they're gonna have a little bit of a problem holding it up, especially if it's your first time and they're trying to acquire their front and rear sight acquisition. That's gonna take them a little while, so I would find something like a little bit cheaper, maybe the Ruger SR22, something along that line. The Taurus TX22 is another thing that come to mind, that is super light. And the reason why you want to use a 22, like I said, is to help bring the rest of the family into the shooting sport, so you're not the only one enjoying it. And not only that, it's a good trainer. A lot of times when I go to the range, especially like I said, with the price of ammo, I'm shooting, 9mm. I'm shooting a box of 9mm, maybe two, and I really don't want to spend any more. Then I bring a good old 22. I have a Browning Buckmark. I have quite a few 22s. And, I just bring them out and then I start plinking with that. The reason why I say that is you can still get all that muscle memory, all that practice with a 22 pistol. Not necessarily the same recoil, but you can get a lot of trigger time that teach you how to control your breathing, how to aim, just practical accuracy. From 7 to 14 years. Like I said, the recoil is going to be a little bit different, but it's going to still give you some trigger time behind a firearm. And a 22 is probably one of the cheapest way to do it. To buy 1,000 rounds of 9mm, that's going to cost you about $300. To buy 500 rounds of 22, the most that will cost you is probably like $40. So the price difference is ginormous. And the fun factor is astronomical, because you're going to have a whole lot of plinking fun with this. Blinking cans, blinking steel, just splinking stuff out at 100 yards to see if you can actually hit it. I can express to you how I love 22 and how much fun I know you guys are gonna have with a 22 pistol. So that would be my second choice for 22. And if we're doing like a shit hit the fan kind of thing, WROL, you want to have something that you can carry a lot of rounds with. You can go squirrel hunting, you can hunt for game, small game, and a 22 maybe with a suppressor is going to come in mad handy. Then obviously if you're going to reach out and touch a little bit more, you're probably going to need a 22 long rifle. And that's kind of why I would pick my second firearm to be a 22 long rifle and pistol. Not to make this video super winded, kind of want to keep it a little shorter than I normally do. And then my third firearm that I would purchase if I'm buying 3 firearms would be, okay guys, so the third firearm that I would purchase if I'm buying only 3 firearms would be a bolt action rifle or a semi-auto long rifle like an AR-15 or something like the such. This one is just a simple one, something I wouldn't recommend go out purchasing some super expensive one. This one is the Thompson Center Compass, and this is chambered in 308. I would not suggest anything less than a 223 if you're going to buy a bolt action rifle, and anything up from that. So in 223, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, and anything up. If you're new to it, I wouldn't go really past 6.5 Creedmoor, because those ammunition get a little bit more expensive. But again, if I'm going to purchase my third firearm, it would be a bolt action rifle. And now the reason why I said I would purchase a bolt action or AR-15 or something along that line would be, now if you have to defend your family, you want to keep your attackers at distance, and you're not, and a 22 or a 9 millimeter is not really gonna do it that much beyond, I say, 200 yards. Even a long rifle in 9 millimeter is not gonna do that. A 9 millimeter carbine, yes, it can reach out to about 100 yards and be somewhat effective, but you're gonna need something like a 223 in the form of a bolt action, or a like an AR-15 style rifle. And there's a lot of different type of rifles that comes in the 223 that are long rifle. You have the Keltec RDB, you have bolt actions, you have AR-15s, you name it, you can find them. So that's what I would get as my third rifle, something that you could take out hunting, something that you can keep the bad guys at real arm length away. That's what I would purchase. I know a lot of people is gonna say, "Oh, you should do a shotgun." But okay, if you pick a shotgun, you can defend your house with a 9 millimeter. Okay, so why would you really need a shotgun? Now, if you want to get a shotgun for later, then absolutely. But you want to get something that can reach out and touch your enemy, or touch the people that are pursuing you, or hunt for big game, and a 308 or 6.5 Creedmoor, or 223, can take down pretty much, I think, with good shot placement, anything in North America. 308 will definitely take down anything in North America. And I don't know where you're watching this video from, but I'm pretty sure 308 can take down a lot of, I'd say 90% of animals on the planet. Now, if you are, trying to run from like a buffalo, you need something a little bit bigger than that. But anything from 223, 308, 6.5 Creedmoor is going to do that. But if you're new to it, I would go ahead and I would recommend probably a 223, because the recoil is not as bad as a 308. And if that's something that you're not really interested, the most you can go up to 6.5 Creedmoor. And any of those three calibers would be great just for keeping people at bay. And then this helps you to do, to be a better marksman in terms of shooting out the distance. And that is pretty much going to be my video for today, guys. And guys, thank you guys for watching. If you like my content, go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. If you have not hit the notification bell yet, go ahead and do so, guys. I'm going to keep try to put out as much more content as I possibly can. So stay tuned for my channel. And my goal next year, 2023, is to get up to about 10,000 subscribers. So I'm putting in the work. If you like my videos, guys, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe. And Mr. Black Mamba signing out. Thanks for watching, guys.